Now, the man known as Russia's Grey Cardinal has resigned as Vice Premier after more than a decade in the halls of power. Vladislav Surkov became a renowned ideologist and was thought of as a leading figure behind the scenes in the government. Well, for more on this and his resignation, let's talk to RT News editor Ivor Crotty. This was a shock departure, wasn't it? What led to it?
Yes, it came as a bit of a surprise today. Surkov had been working as Deputy Prime Minister in Dmitry Medvedev's cabinet with responsibility for government policy and media policy. His resignation follows a particularly fractious cabinet meeting with President Putin yesterday, where Putin criticised the cabinet for ticking boxes but not following through with substantial policy reforms. He called their work superficial. Surkov begged to differ during that meeting, and his resignation was accepted by Putin shortly afterwards.
He's called the Grey Cardinal, isn't he? Why is that?
Yeah, Surkov is an eminence grise, the Grey Cardinal of the Kremlin, known by Russia watchers everywhere. He came out of PR into the Kremlin administration and is the concept architect behind what's known as sovereign democracy. This was the ideological and political pillars around which Vladimir Putin built his early administrations. Sovereign democracy advocated values of pride, independence, and what became known around the world as, I guess, as Vladimir Putin's "don't lecture us" stance when it came to democracies in transition, particularly young democracies such as Russia's. Some would say it put a veneer of democracy over what were Russian political traditions, and was a reasonably controversial topic, or a reasonably controversial policy at the time, and remains so. He then Surkov became better known for managing the PR around that. He was a very capable PR operator, and as everybody knows, political PR in Russia are particularly choppy waters and difficult to negotiate at the best of times. Surkov basically defined the parameters by which those kind of PR events and PR arguments would take place. He was a madman supremo, as it were, a madman supremo, should I say. And because of his work on the political PR side, the expression Surkovskaya propaganda entered the contemporary Russian lexicon.
You mentioned that row with Putin that he had. That's not the only row, is it, recently that he's had?
Well, you're referring to Skolkovo here. And when Surkov worked with President Medvedev on modernization, he advocated setting up the Skolkovo Technology Hub, the research excellence hub that's now running outside Moscow. Now, Surkov had a strong vision for modernization of Russian economy and bringing innovation culture into Russia's economy. Skolkovo most recently has been involved in a rather controversial corruption probe. Surkov has been engaged in a public dialogue with one of the prosecutor's spokesmen on that. But it was stressed today that Surkov's decision to resign had nothing to do with that, and that it was related to his role as Deputy Prime Minister for carrying out the President's orders or for carrying out presidential policy. OK, well, thanks for giving us some clarity on that. That's RT's news editor, Ivor Crotty. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.